guys feel like you're coming to a marriage retreat? Trust me, listen, there's no need to stress out. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. When I built Monster Producer 4 years ago, Jack, I'm on my mic, Jack. You picking it up? When I built Monster Producer 4 years ago, one of the things I said is I believe in coaching the whole person. And for example, what good is it to have knowledge with no desire? What good is it to have skill with no confidence? And I said I want to build a coaching program that coaches all parts of a person's nature. The body, the mind, the heart, the spirit. And then I started saying, if we really want to coach these folks, then why don't we build things in for the family? Why don't we build things in for the husband and wife? Why don't we build things in for the kids? Why don't we build things in for their faith? And for one reason, I thought it would differentiate us from all the other coaching programs. Most people get into sales coaching programs. How hard you work today, if you go home at the end of the day and your partner's not on the same page with you, you're going to feel like you lost. Can we all agree with that? And what I began to see in Monster Producer was I began to see people coming to me and going, my spouse is not on board with me, or they don't understand me, or, they don't understand how hard I work, or we're not in alignment with each other, and they begin bringing me these issues, and I say, well, why don't we just bring you together so we can talk about these issues? So we really built Monster Couples, and that's why we're doing this. So throughout the year, think of this in segments. So tonight will be segment 1, and then we'll have segment 2, and then we'll have segment 3 and segment 4, and every time we meet, it's kind of mirroring the show that we do. Anybody watch the podcast we do called Living with a Monster? Okay, so we're doing a podcast called Living with a Monster, and that's really what's spurring this idea, is how do you decide which one the monster is. Fair enough?
They know.
You decide which one the monster is.
They know.
So tonight we're going to get into a couple things. Number one, how do you embrace the vision? How do you know like where you're going as a couple? You guys see power couples before? And they have a vision for where they're going. How do you accept the other person? Natalie and I spent a lot of time where we were kind of fighting because she didn't really know how to handle my ambition. So she thought my ambition was taken away from time with our family. Does that make sense? Why am I up in the middle of the night working? Why do I want to work on Sunday afternoon? Why am I up at 3 o'clock in the morning thinking? Why am I constantly taking a notebook when we go to dinner at night at Outback? Why am I doing all these things? Okay, and for a long time, that was a friction point for us. And we're going to talk about that tonight. And then one day, it's like, instead of trying to change who I am, she finally said, I'm going to accept who he is. This is who he is. This is how God made him. Okay? And then it began to just accept each other. So we're going to talk about acceptance. We're going to talk about vision. What's the other thing we're going to talk about? We're going to talk about acceptance, vision. We're going to tell a little bit about our story. And then we're going to get into understanding the needs of a monster. I would tell you right from the beginning, one of the biggest things I need is I go out into the marketplace every day and I take my ideas to the market and I push hard. And there's opposition, and there's rejection, and there's objection, and you get beat up pretty bad. And the biggest thing I need when I get home is another person helping me protect my confidence. Does that make sense? I need them to. I need to. So we're going to get into what does your monster need? What does she need from me? What do I need from her? So we're going to talk about all those things tonight, and we'll cover it in this course tonight. So it's going to be a great night, okay? So let's start off. We're going to start off by telling our story, and I'm going to let you, because a lot of people see us today, and they think, oh, they're on the same page. But I would tell you it wasn't always like that. There were times when in our relationship, we didn't even know if we were going to be together. There were times with our daughter,
I'm going to get into all that.
that we didn't even know if we were going to be together. So a lot of people don't know that side of us, of what we fought through to get to where we are today. But like I said, there were periods of complete doubt, complete insecurity, complete, and really she fought for our relationship. And that really was one of the things that even grew my love for her deeper. She always fought for our relationship. No matter what, she always kept in there fighting for it. So I'm gonna shut up for a minute. I'm gonna let her talk, let her tell a story. She's like, when is he gonna stop talking? Okay, here you go. Tell the story, baby.
Okay, so I really wanted to share this tonight because of what you said. A lot of people don't know this about us. You just see us today. And there was a part, I'm just going to kind of give you the timeline of our relationship. So we started dating, and we started traveling, having fun, just getting to know each other barely, and then I got pregnant. And which, like he said, created a lot of doubt, insecurity. We didn't really know each other. So we ended up splitting up 4 months into my pregnancy. But I want to start by saying that the reason I think that we did that is because there are 12 marriages between our parents. And we were just doing what we had seen. So in the middle of that, we kind of realized this is not what we want for our daughter. We don't want her to be in a home without both of her parents. So over the next 5 months of my pregnancy, we worked through a lot of issues and dealt with things that most people would do over the course of several years, like before you get married. So I think that really created in us, because of what we wanted for our daughter, a determination and a willingness to work when we didn't necessarily want to, but we put her first and what she needed. So that's kind of our backstory. Babe?
Well, when you think about this, how many of you had a picture in your mind of what your husband or wife was going to be? Right? Well, the picture in my mind was debutante. Now, I'm going to tell you how God works in mysterious ways. Because the picture in my mind was businesswoman, debutante. You understand what I'm saying? And God sent me a country girl from West Tennessee. And so in my mind, I had in my mind, this is like there's no way in the world
this is going to work.
that we are ever going to be together. Because this is not what I had in my mind. Does that make sense? And when she's telling this story about how this worked out and how God brought us together, part of the big problem was, instead of me just going with it, I had this vision in my mind of what I was supposed to be, who I was supposed to be with. And she's right, because of these marriages in our family, on my mom's side and my dad's side, and what she went through, when push came to shove, we didn't know how to commit. We weren't raised in a family that committed. You understand what I'm saying? We just saw this happen over and over and over and over again, and we didn't really have an idea of what normalcy was. So during the relationship, and this is one big point I want to make to you, is when I would get distracted off of our relationship, for whatever that was, other people, other women, one of the things that won me over about Natalie is she come to me, and instead of getting mad at me, here's what she said: what am I not doing that I need to be doing to fight for our relationship?
Which was not a comfortable place to be. I mean, my first instinct was walk away, because that's all I'd ever seen. I didn't know how to have a successful marriage. I didn't know how to do that, but everything my instincts were telling me, I did opposite because I really just wanted to walk away,
So when you think about that, one of the biggest things that there's going to be times in your deal where you got to get in there and fight. You got to get in there and fight for each other. And that's really the first thing that won me over about her is she said, what am I not doing? Instead of blaming that on me, right? Instead of saying, why are you doing this? She said, what can I do to fight for this relationship? So I want you to think about that tonight as you're looking at our journey. There were times that, like I said, she was pregnant with our daughter, and we didn't know if we would be together. And then finally, I made a decision. I said, what's best for our daughter is to live under our roof, one roof. And even during that period of her life, I was sleeping in the pool house. She was sleeping in the house. For months and months and months and months. So I just want you to know that where we are today, it wasn't always like that. That's a big thing you need to know, is that we had to fight through this adversity to really get where we are today. So what's the first big lesson? There's going to be times that you got to fight. You got to dig in and fight for each other. And that will say a lot about, right? Because we live in such a cotton candy world today that the first time of adversity, what do people want to do? Right? They want to bounce. They want to get out of the relationship. They don't want to see something through to its logical conclusion. So that's really the first thing I want you to think about tonight is what are you doing to fight for the relationship? Now, second thing I want to talk to you about is this concept of what is a monster? What is a monster? Are you living with a monster? Which one is a monster? Somebody give me a good definition of a monster producer.
I can't hear him. What'd he say? What'd he say?
A mythological creature. Right. So when that's right. So here's the deal. When you're thinking about a monster producer, here's one of the things I want you thinking about when you're thinking about a monster producer. The first thing you got to understand about a monster producer, when you hear me say this is a legendary creature that combines multiple skill sets to dominate a market. So this is the very first thing you got to understand about understanding dealing with your monster, because we're getting ready to get into monster vision. What is the vision of your marriage? Where is this going? Do you even understand the vision of your partner? If I tell Natalie that my purpose on planet Earth is to impact millions of people, does that mean I may have to leave Murfreesboro to go do it? Yes or no? Does it mean I may have to work on Saturday and Sunday? Yes or no? Does it mean I may have to do things I don't want to do? Yes or no? Well, if she's fighting against that vision, and I say, look, I feel like I was put on this earth to help millions of people, which means I got to get on an airplane and be away from you and our baby girl at some point. Now, she could, as my partner, suppress that vision, but would that build a resentment from me to her? Could it build a resentment from me to her? Yes or no? What if she don't understand the vision? What if she says to me, why don't you just go to work from 8 to 5? Why can't you be home on Friday nights? Why can't you do this on Saturday? Why do you have to speak at 10X? Why do we have to do all of these things? If I'm constantly hearing that, and this is really what I hear a lot in Monster Producer, is people will come to me and say, my spouse does not understand my vision. So what's happening is I'm getting a lot of noise when I go home. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Why do you have to do this? Why do you have to do that? They don't understand the vision. Well, here's the first thing I will tell you about most monster producers is that every person in this room has a talent. And they may have multiple talents, by the way. Even in the Bible, not everybody got equal number of talents. So the point there is not everybody starts at the same starting point. Everybody with me? One person got one talent, one person got 2, one person got 3, one person got 4, one person got 5, and they multiply those talents. So some of the monsters in the room are what I call multi-potentialites. You know what that is? They're interested in a lot of things. So in a given day, I may be interested in coaching, at a real estate deal, and doing these things. I may come home at night and my mind is just running wild. Well, the first thing I think you've got to understand about a monster is they have been given certain talents and certain unique abilities. Most people see their work as their occupation. That means I go to work, I stay at work, I leave work and I come home and I don't think about my work anymore. But that's not how monster producers think. When do they think about their work?
All the time.
You understand? So imagine her telling me, can't you just shut it off? Can't you just chill out? Can't you just put the notebook down? Can't you just... I'm at a Super Bowl party the other night. I'm sitting there, you know, and somebody will say something, Ryan Deere say something. I'll walk over there and take notes on my notepad. You understand what I'm saying? Now, my wife used to say, man, can't you just go and socialize with these people and enjoy yourself? But he gave me a great idea. That's turning. So here's what I want you to understand if you're the spouse, husband or wife. Some people see their work as their occupation, which means it occupies their time in which they receive a paycheck for. So I check in, I do the deal, and I go home. My body is there, but my mind and my heart and my spirit are not there. Everybody with me? I don't want to think about it. I don't want to talk about it. When I get home, I'm out. I'm going to vacate from that work until it's time to start work again tomorrow. A lot of people struggle with this. Here's how the monster sees their work. The monster actually sees their work as the distribution channel for their talent. Everybody see that? So the monster is not looking at their work going, it's a 9 to 5 gig to me. They actually see this as their talent. They are distributing their talent through their work. And when they distribute their talent at a very high level, the world is rewarding them in the form of love and money and recognition. So what if I get a lot of love out in the world, but I come home and I don't get that love from my wife? What if I speak to 600 real estate agents and they're clapping and cheering and giving me a standing ovation, and I go home on that high and my wife's like,
You're late.
"You're late. Why didn't you get home 15 minutes earlier?" And I'm like, "Well, you don't understand what just happened. Like what just happened is I just crushed it today, and they loved it today. See, you see what I'm saying? Now I'm getting adoration over here. What if Dr. Beals just go to work and his patients are telling him all day long, 'Man, we love this. You're changing our life. You're doing this,' and he goes home and his wife is like, 'Ain't nothing special about you.'" I know it's not happening, but what if that happens? You see where he's getting love in one area of his life, but he's not getting love in another area? And so a monster, the first thing you got to understand about a monster is they don't get up and go to work every day. They get up and go to their calling. And that brings a different kind of intensity and a different kind of passion and a different kind of energy and a different kind of attitude and a different type of want to. Everybody following what I'm saying here? So when you're over there like, "Why are you so worked up about this, Daniel? Why is this such a big deal, Daniel? Why you got to do this? Why do you care? Why are you taking notes? Why are you doing it?" What you're really not understanding is how they see their work, which is the distribution channel for their talent. Everybody see the difference here? So how do they get rewarded in a day? Love, money, referrals, satisfaction. They get some type of emotional satisfaction. Now, if they start wanting to work more than they want to spend time with you, it's real simple. Because they're getting more satisfaction there than they are from you. They're getting emotionally satisfied somewhere. Everybody with me? So you got to understand, when you think about this vision, we're going to stop right here. We're going to let you kind of talk about what is your vision. Where are you going? Does your partner understand your vision? My vision is to be a national and international brand, like Tony Robbins and Grant Cardone and these people, which means it ain't be famous in Murfreesboro. I can't even get a VIP magazine in Murfreesboro. Can y'all believe that? I'm like, what have I got to do to be famous in Murfreesboro? Love of goodness. But here's the deal. If Natalie says you can't get on an airplane, you can't leave Murfreesboro, you got to be home every night at 5 o'clock. That desire is in me. And I feel like she's suppressing that desire. Everybody with me? That's going to build resentment. I don't know any other way to tell you. That's going to build resentment in me from me to her. Okay? Now, that's not to say that it's got to be my way all the time. She could tell me, "You're not spending enough time with our daughter. You're not spending enough time with me. You're going to have to cut something else out and have some time with us." And she does tell me that a lot. Because I'm trying to tempt you. See what I'm saying? But I just want you to see what I hear every day as coaching a lot of people is one person is on goal, and one person is hitting the gas, and one person is hitting the brakes. What if you were both hitting the gas? Does that make sense? Because she's got her own dreams and her own vision as well. So you want to speak to some of that, what we're talking about? About this concept of just understanding work as a distribution channel for talent?
Well, I do feel like once we got on the same page with this, our relationship got deeper and your business really catapulted. I mean, because I didn't understand, which we'll talk about that in a little bit, but so I think it's very important that you understand each other, what that vision is. If you're the monster, and then we'll talk about some ways to support that here in just a minute.
Yeah. So how many times have you ever sat down and talked about your vision? I really think you need to go on a vision retreat. I think there needs to be times, you know where we do it? We do it at Bonefish. over cucumber margaritas.
And we write all over the table. I mean,
And we take our pens, and you can write on the paper at Bonefish, and we'll go over there and spend 3 or 4 hours at the end of a year mapping out our next year, and we'll just draw it up. Here's all the places we want to vacation. Here's all the things we want to do. And we will literally just have a couple margaritas and, man, just go at it. And every now and then she say, hey, it's time for us to go plant some things at Bonefish. We'll just sit there and have fun. Where do you want to vacation this year? What do you want to do this year? Where do we want to go this year? How to be, right? It's like a little, but some of the top pastors would tell you, go on a vision retreat where you just go and get away and do nothing, but talk about where you're going to go as a couple. What are your dreams, hopes, fears, and really get that. So first thing I want you to do tonight is I want you to talk a little bit right now about your vision. Where do you want to take this thing? Because here's the deal. Brian may tell me I want to sell houses, I want to sell more houses, I want to do this, but that may not be the ultimate vision. Tony Robbins wants to feed 1 billion people in his lifetime. That's a vision. You understand what I'm saying? It's not sell a few more houses, make a couple $1 million. I got one client that wants to give away $1 million a year to charity. That's his number one driving factor. And in the process, he's making millions of dollars. So he told me yesterday, I got to make $5 million to be able to give $1 million away. But his number one deal is giving away, and him and his wife, when they were broke and had no money, set that target. Is we want to get to a point with our business to give away $1 million a year to charity. And they are both committed to it. They are both on board, right? So what I don't want you to do is you're going this way and your partner's going this way, and it really started because you never even talked about what do you want to do?
that's right.
Where do you want to go? What do you want to, what is your impact on planet Earth going to be? You've never even really taken time to do that. So I want you to take a minute right now and just kind of get some clarity about what is your monster vision. Where do you want to take this thing? Where do you want to go? Go to a place in the future and then come back to right now, okay? So take a minute, let's go ahead and talk about that.
Turn some music on. You turn some music on. Turn some music on.
Turn your microphone off when you talk.
Test 1 2. Check 1 2.
Now the next thing is, when you're talking about acceptance,
So, does everybody see where this is going to create friction if one person is going 100 mile an hour and one's not? If I'm talking planet Earth and you're talking Murfreesboro, like we teach our monster producers to line up on what you believe. When two people are in agreement, okay? So this is very critical that you say, hey, this is where I want to go. This is both the male and the female side. She's got her own dreams, okay? What she didn't tell you is that one of the ways we connected is she came to one of my workshops on a book called This Ain't No Practice Life. And she sat in the back row, and I tell people she fell in love with her potential, and I fell in love with her. But she took that book and read it, and she told me nobody had ever really talked to her about her potential. Nobody had ever challenged her. Nobody had ever talked to her. She didn't have...
There was always the message of you can do anything you want, right? I was told that growing up. You can be anything you want to be, but nobody had ever challenged that in me. Like, what do you really want to be, you know? So that was a big moment for me.
So let's talk about this concept of acceptance and accepting the other person for who they are. How many of you tried to change your spouse before?
All of us.
Yeah, we've all tried to change them. Okay, you look at the disc profile. She and I'm a high D, low C, which means I'm a rule breaker. I break the rules. Here's my concept. If we got to be there at 7:45, let's leave at 7:40 and drive faster. Her concept is we need to be in the car at 7:15 if we're going to be there by 7:45. See the difference? We're daylight and dark, different, okay? So things I do drive her crazy. Things she does drive me crazy. She does things at her own pace. I do things with an intensity. I want to tackle it, but she will get things done, and I'll forget that I even said something about it. I'm like, she's like, well, hey, you asked me to do this a while back, and I got it done. I forgot I even said anything about it. My point is, attack it right then. Stop what you're doing. Let's do it right now. So talk to them about acceptance, because I think this is a big thing.
I feel like a lot of us will try to understand. Like I would try to understand how he thinks, but I feel like that's impossible because I don't think that way. So there came a time when I just accepted it, even though I don't understand it. Does that make sense? So I think one of the biggest moments was I was frustrated because I'm a planner that we were not going to church at the same time every week. Like it'd be this time over here and it'd be over here this week. And he finally looked at me and he was like, we don't have average lives. It will never be the same time every week. It will be all over the place because we live extraordinary lives. And so that's when I really started just accepting things and accepting him versus trying to understand the way he is or why he did this or that. So I think that's big to accept versus you may not necessarily understand.
Here's what I meant by that. Listen, sometimes I'm going to be speaking on Saturday night, and we're not going to 8:20 service on Sunday morning. We're going to 10:30. It don't matter. You understand what I'm saying? If we're going to live unusual lives, what I'm saying is it's not going to fit in a box. Because what we're going to do is going to be unusual. We're going to live extraordinary lives, which is going to require extraordinary effort. It's not going to be Monday to Friday, 8 to 5 every week. It's not going to be we can go to church at the same time every Sunday. There's going to have to be flexible. I want you to be fluid in your thoughts, not rigid. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm booking things today in Scottsdale, Arizona. It's on a Saturday. It's on a Sunday. But I'm sitting there thinking, you know what? If I got to make it up somewhere through the week, we'll make it up. You follow what I'm saying here? It's not going to fit in a box. Too many people come with predestined. Like, I used to get home at, if I say I'm going to be home at 5:30, sometimes I get home at 5:45. And she would really get on me. And I said, baby, I'm trying. But 5 things happened on the way out the door. 2 customers had an issue. 1 person went crazy on me today. I got 3 schizophrenic people I'm coaching. You know what I mean? 2 people wanted to quit, right? I mean, I need you to extend some grace to me, because it ain't easy coaching 500 or 600 people a day. But how can she understand that? Because she's not coaching 500 or 600 people a day. If she left me at home with our daughter all day long, you know what? That's things I don't understand. I'd be wanting to come back to work. So what I'm saying is, you see this, you see what I'm saying about accepting? She is who she is. That's how God made her. She's a high C. She stays by the rules. I'm a rule breaker. She could spend all her time trying to change me, or we can try to say this is who we are. So one of the exercises I want us to do right now on acceptance is, there's two things. I want you to tell the other person what drives you. Because some of you may be driven by money. Some of you are driven by security. Some of you are driven by affirmation. Some of you are driven by impact in the world. Some of you are driven, you see what I'm saying? If we have a big contract that I lose in a day, or something happens in a day that could cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars, as soon as I get home is not the time to hit me with, I need to decompress about this. This is a big deal. This affects our future. Okay? And so there may be times I say, look, I just need some space to myself. So what you need to tell the other person, listen, I am motivated by this. And if there is a friction point, what is the friction point? What is the friction point? You told me I need to be home at 6 o'clock and I get home at 7. Is that a friction point? Is a friction point is, hey, you're not spending enough time with the kids. Friction point is, what creates friction between you? Well, if you understand what drives the other person, then you may be able to, alleviate some of this friction. You follow what I'm saying here? So tell your partner right now, man, here's what I think really motivates me. Here's what I'm driven. You need to know this. You need to know that I'm driven internally by this. And when there is friction, be honest with them and just tell them. You know, Natalie is probably better at handling objections than anybody I've ever met. Because now she used to just roll over. Now she understands the 5 steps to overcome an objection. As soon as I dish it out, she comes right back at me, man. She's gotten good. I'm like, you're going to be selling for us pretty soon, girl. Because she just hits me right back. I mean, it's like, I'm like, you've preloaded. You got all these preloaded things, right? But here's the deal. I need that. I need her to come back at me. Because my personality is I do not reward people that come across as weak. I reward people who are strong. That's just the way I'm wired. You understand what I'm saying? So if I'm negotiating with a person, or Brian's negotiating on my behalf, I reward people who will play pitch and catch with me. I don't reward people psychologically who roll over and are weak. You understand what I'm saying? So she gets back in there and punches. And I'm like, that's awesome. That is awesome. Keep going, girl. So take a minute right now and talk about what drives you. What drives the other person? And if they don't accept something, just tell them, hey, man, here's a part you don't understand about me. I need you to get this part about what drives me, okay? Take a second and talk about that. Chance, Richard, Chris, Melinda, Adrian, Chris, Doug, Clay, the big deal, Whitaker, Chris Walsh. Guys, what we're talking about right now is understanding, acceptance, really getting in deep about what drives each other. Not trying to change your significant other, but accepting who they are, accepting where they want to go. Really supporting your partner. We're about to get into confidence, protecting the confidence of your partner, but it all starts with an understanding of the vision and where you're really trying to go in the world. And once you understand that, guys, you're going to be in good shape, because you're going to be accepting versus trying to change. Right now, how often do you? Here's what we do. We lives. Wouldn't you agree? We don't go deep. I want you to think about one person in your life right now you can go deep with, a good friend that doesn't judge you, that you get out of the superficial parts of life and you really go deep with a person. Their hopes, their dreams, their fears, their insecurities. I probably only have one friend like that. One true friend that doesn't judge me, that I can talk about anything with. Right? Well, obviously, that's how we need to be. We don't talk about superficial things. We need to go deep in this relationship. We need to really, really understand each other. So, what did you find out when you're sharing this about what your vision is and what are you finding out right there as you're talking about these things? Somebody want to share with that? Yes, sir. Jerry Fetta, all the way from Alaska.
Yeah. So we started out with smaller pieces, she said family, and we were talking smaller areas, and then we kind of traced those back up, and we found really broad common points. And so those were areas where we took things that maybe seemed really different or far apart, and we brought them back into alignment with that bigger vision. So that was something we noticed, and then also further defining those. That's where we saw friction points, and we kind of start figuring out why. Yeah.
That's good. And listen, you're going to have friction points, right? Here's a rule that I think to live by. Our pastor always says this, and I think it's good. On the other side of conflict is a deeper intimacy. On the other side of conflict with each other is a deeper intimacy with each other. There's going to be conflict. One of the reasons we got married was because I was sitting on the fence, not because of her, but because I saw my parents go through multiple divorces. Didn't really have anything to do with her. Had everything to do with me. You with me? And in New York City, I went to speak in New York City. She went with me. We were dating. And she believed that in New York City I was going to propose to her. She thought we went there for me to propose. I thought I went there to speak. See the difference? See the difference in our thought process? Well, after a couple of glasses of wine, that tiger came out. But here's the deal. She pushed me. Creative tension. She pushed me. What more do you got to see? What are you waiting on? Why can't you take action? Why? And you know what? I needed that. I needed that one conversation to get me across the finish line. You understand what I mean? I needed her to say that to me, and I needed her to say it the way she said it to me, because I'd have just kept pushing it back, right? Sometimes I push her, like, listen, go do it. You want to start your own catering company? Quit talking about it. Go do, and she'll do it. You want to do this? Go do it. You know, sometimes we just need the validation from another person to give us a push, and sometimes that validation needs to be, go, like stronger. Not think about doing it. Go take action on this. I got you back. It's going to be okay. There is no such thing as failure. We're going to learn the lesson. We're going to move on, right? So she does that for me, and I do that for her. But one of the things that she did mention a minute ago is one of the best things we do is we go get around other power couples. So we went to Mexico together. Our first 10X experience, and she was in there with Cardone and his wife, that are operating at a big level. She was around Brad Lee and his wife. And this is one thing I see, is one person will go to a conference, but the spouse won't go. One person will go get involved in something, but the other one won't go. One person will go network, but the other one won't go. It's like it's separated. See, I needed her to get around other people that think like this, so we could both think like this. Not me think like this and her think like this. Okay, so my point was that 10X, she would tell you, opened her mind to other wives and other thought processes and other people and how they think and how they operate. And here's the deal. I was nervous that, you know, this is a little country girl from Milan. I'm like, I was nervous that when I put her around these people, she couldn't handle it. She handled it better than I did. They immediately loved her. She talked to them. I was like, man, I'm so impressed with how she's interacting with all these people. They immediately like her. I mean, that's one of her talents. People immediately like her. They like her a lot more than they like me. So my point is, for you, I didn't see that flourish until I put her in that environment around other power people. You understand what I'm saying? When she got in that environment, man, she began to thrive. But I can't tell you how many monsters will say, man, I really want to go to do it, but my husband ain't on board with me. Or my wife's not on board with me. Or I need to go and they don't want to participate in it. Here's what I say. You need to expose them to other big-time thinkers. And they need to see it. And they need to be around them. And that's not going to happen always in Murfreesboro. You're going to have to leave here and go get around other people that think big. Like when we go down to Seaside, and Daniel and Angela come down to Seaside with us, and we're down there living together for 3 or 4 days, and you're having breakfast with a person doing 10 times the amount you're doing, that opens your mind. You understand?
Also opened up my mind, not to interrupt you.
Yeah.
So, you know, I work all day long, hard hours, do the ministry, and get calls from all kind of crazy different people. And, you know, I love to help other people, so when I get home, I'm drained.
Yeah.
And exhausted. And so I felt like, before going there, I felt like the best way for me to do this is just not include her in all that, because, you know, almost like protecting her. Why would she want to know about all this stuff? But, you know, went to Seaside, number one, I was a little terrified about her talking about my bookkeeping and how terrible it is.
That's right.
But, you know, just to hear her thoughts and know, and, you know, because we're around other people that are talking about it in a business setting, not just necessarily church or wherever. So it really opened up my eyes to how she actually wanted to hear those things and be a part of it. And really the idea is that, I mean, it's almost like I'm like, man, why did it take me so long to think, you know, to get to this?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that he had signed up for Monster Producers. He was talking about, I'm like, you did what? What
Yeah.
is that? How long have you been in Monster
Yeah.
before you knew?
Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't that long.
It wasn't.
Are you talking about when I first signed up?
Now, here's a concept I want to bring, then I'm going to let you take a break. We have a concept in the program called no crumbs. And it is one of the hardest concepts for monsters to master, including me. The monster producers go to work all day long and they pour themselves into their work and into strangers. Everybody with me? Only to go home at the end of the day and have nothing left over for the people they love the most. So you see how that builds resentment? See, she could come to me and say, you're giving all of yourself to all these strangers, and you don't even have anything left over for me or our daughter. So the no crumbs concept is how do you be great during the day and still come home and not give leftovers to the people you love the most, which I have been notorious for doing for a long time. This is something I have to work at every day. Okay? And I fail a lot of days on this. Okay? And if I can't give my daughter good energy at the end of the night, I don't care how much money we made that day. I don't care how many people we have. In my opinion, it was still a failure. Everybody follow me? So if you're driven, what you're going to do is you're going to burn hot all day, and you're going to go home cold at the end of the night. And there's only so many nights where she's going to say, look, this ain't fair to me. This ain't fair to our daughter. So this is why who you spend time with during the day, how much energy you have, how you protect your energy during the day is very critical, because it's not fair to give the best part of you to strangers all day long and not have anything left over for the people you love the most. It's just not fair to them, okay? So she could give me crumbs too, by the way. She could spend time with our daughter all day long, run the greatness factory, and not have anything left over for me. Everybody see that? So you could be a stay-at-home mom and give crumbs. You can be a stay-at-home dad and give crumbs. It ain't just because you're working. It's because something's occupying your energy, and when you get home, you don't have any energy left. So what do? Take a shower, and you go to bed. And you do it all over again tomorrow. And there's never any time for each other. There's never any. So we go on vacation a lot together. And I'm like, we need to go us. A vacation with your kids ain't a vacation. Y'all figured that out, right? Okay? There is a vacation. Family. There's times that it needs to be me and her with no kids. And there are times that I need to go by myself somewhere, and she needs to go by herself somewhere. Her and her girlfriends need to go to Florida and be with her girlfriends. Me, I need to go. Needs that. So she's never, a lot of wives say to their husbands, no, you're not going down there by yourself. You're not doing this. Listen, if I tell her I need to go down to Florida to our condo for 3 days to myself, you know what she says? Go do it. She don't say, why are you doing it? What are you going to do? Why are you not there? She needs to trust me that I can go down there and not do anything and be fine. Maybe I just need 3 days to chill out, decompress from life. Maybe I need 3 days to work on a book. But that's one thing I've always respected about her. She's like, go do it. Everybody with me here? So these are things that we're just trying to work on. So good start. We're going to take a short break. Let's use the restroom. When you come back, we're going to cover one more concept tonight. And the other concept is understanding the needs of that monster. Understanding what they need every day to keep that fire burning, okay? So let's take a short break and then we'll come back. We'll get started. One of the things that hit me on the break, we're going to talk about it this year. We're going to tackle different things. One of the things we're going to tackle this year as part of this series is how to include your partner's talent in the business. That'll be one topic we tackle. Like, how do you include their talent to push something? But one of the things we will tackle as well is, what do you do if you have unpartnered growth? And you know where unpartnered growth is? Where one partner is growing and one person is not. One person's learning, growing, expanding, and one person's not. Everybody see how that could be a problem? So I want you to think of the word enlighten means to shine light on darkness. You know, like you tell us on the break, you had dreams and visions of where you wanted to go, right? She had dreams and visions, but she didn't know what to do. She always wanted to start her own catering company. She always wanted to design things. She always wanted to do that, but she didn't know, where do I go? Like, who right? So she started reading and studying, but before that period of time, you know, she really wasn't doing those things. Now she's doing those things. So I see a lot of unpartnered growth where one person's growing and the other person's not. Let me put it this way. One person's interested in their personal growth and one person is not. Everybody understand what I'm saying? So one person's reading, studying, interested, and one person is stagnant. And what happens is, think of your relationship in states. It is either dynamic, it is static, or it is entropic. That's energy. So your relationship is growing, it is stuck, or it is dying. There is never staying the same. There is never, right? So what if one person is dynamic and one person is static? You see how that's a problem? Just like at work. What if you're growing at work and your employees are not growing? What if you're on fire and they're not on fire? That's unpartnered growth. So what's happening is one person is opening their mind to a whole bigger world, and one person is still living in a little bitty world. And that will present problems at some point. Now, I'm not a therapist by any means, but I'm just telling you what I see out of coaching 500 people a month, is I see this presents problems. Okay? Because one's going and one's staying. One's moving and one's staying. So I just want to just encourage you there, be interested in your own potential. Each one of you have potential in some way, okay? All right, we're going to move to one other topic, and the topic is understanding the needs of a monster. And I'm only going to say one thing, and then Natalie's going to take it. Your monster producer has certain needs. And what I'm talking about needs is, I think one of the greatest needs your monster has is the need for confidence. So here's what I see. Confidence is the one thing that affects everything. Most of the monster producers are in the business of selling something. Okay? They are getting beat up every single day. Especially if they're negotiating, they're getting rejected, they're getting objection. There's all kinds of things that come along with running a business. Lawsuits. If you've ever owned a business and you start doing something really, really, really big, there is all kinds of opposition that hits you in a day. Everybody with me? And if you don't understand that opposition, you don't understand how important, if your partner loses their confidence, it's a bad place to be. They need that confidence to go out into the marketplace every day. So here's what you can't do. You can't erode that confidence. So what if I had an awful day today, lost deals? Listen, when I lose deals, they're not $3,000 or $4,000. Some of the deals I lose are $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 deals. I may have worked on that deal for 2 years. You follow what I'm saying? And if I get hit with that, or somebody quits on me, or cancels on me, or, then we get into contractual issues, then it's a big deal, because that affects our future. That affects our financial future. You understand what I mean? I just spent $60,000 building this space out. That's cash. That's not borrowed from somebody. that 60,000 of our cash to make this what it is? What if it don't work? What if I have to lay people off? What if all of a sudden people don't book me to speak? What if all of a sudden I get on stage and I lose my confidence? You understand what I'm saying? So you can imagine if I go out there and get beat up in a day, and then I come home and get beat up too. Everybody follow what I'm saying? This is real critical that you get this. Because if you're not going into battle every day, you have no idea what goes on in a day. How hard it is. So I want you to look at confidence like this. It is either your greatest asset or your greatest liability. Once you lose your confidence, your liability, it is a tremendous liability to you. Everybody follow? How many of y'all have ever lost your confidence before? Listen, what takes years to build up can take seconds to tear down. What takes years to build up can take seconds to tear down. So I go out into the market, and it worked, and it worked, and it worked, and now it didn't work today. And it didn't work tomorrow, and we're not bringing in any money, and we're not growing. And what I used to do ain't working anymore. And I'm coming home and I'm getting beat up. So I want you to think of confidence as an asset that we need to protect. And I need your help protecting it. Okay? So think of confidence as a bucket, and what I need to do is I need to feed it. I need to feed it because it's real hungry. You follow me? So I look at diversifying my confidence like I diversify my money. If all my confidence is in my wife, and she's mad at me this morning, and she's on me before I walk out the door, what does my day look like? Can't sell, can't talk to people, can't be successful, because my whole focus is on our argument we had at 7:30 when I was walking out the door. That affects our future. So I can't put all of my confidence in one bucket. I need to diversify my confidence. And I need to feed it. I need to feed it in 4 areas: body, mind, heart, spirit. Okay? So the way I protect my confidence is I go to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I'm feeding my confidence in my body. Because when my body feels good, I'm more confident. Does that make sense? Well, what if she says, I don't want you going to work out? Because see, when I get up at 4:30, that wakes her up. What if she said, look, this is inconvenient on me. You got to figure out another way to do this. What if she don't understand why I need to be in the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning? You follow what I'm saying? She's beating up on me. And I'm like, look, this is real critical to for me being confident today, how I feel about myself. So I'm feeding myself in my body. Now, in my mind, what if I'm reading? You know, we go on vacation, I take one suitcase just for books. I take a whole suitcase for books, 50 pounds of books, everywhere we go. She's like, can't you just take one book? I'm like, no, I got to take all these books. Because I don't know what I'm going to want to read when we get to Florida. You follow me? I want my options. So my mind is going, what if I walk in tomorrow and say, look, I really need to spend $10,000 to be coached by this one person? She could say, you don't need to spend that money on that coaching program. What if I said this is the #1 guy in the world? And he's doing $150 million a year, and he knows something I don't know, and it's $10,000 to be coached by him. She could say, you ain't spending it. You know what I mean? You know how many wives tell their husbands they can't be a monster producer because of the investment? I hear it every day. My wife ain't on board with it. She won't let me spend the money. She won't let me invest myself. She's beating up on me about this. And I'm like, man, you need to get her on board because this is tied to your future. Everybody see what I'm saying here? So my mind needs to be growing, and I need her to be on board with that. If I say, look, I need to spend this money to go get better, I can't go through this whole thing about why do you have to do it, you don't need to do it. I need her to understand. I don't tell her how to run her businesses, and I don't let her tell me how to run my businesses. So I'm like, you're running our real estate, you do it the way you need to do it. I'm not ever going to tell you how to run it. I may tell you to make a few more.
Get some coaching every
I may take you how to make a few more sales, but you see what I'm saying. What about this part? This is the emotional part. This is the heart. What if I got a broken heart? You think that affects my ability to go out to the market and sell? Yes or no? What if I go out to the market and my wife's down on me because I don't think she believes in me? Will that affect my confidence? Yes or no? What if I think she lost faith in me? Will that affect my confidence? Yes or no? You see how critical all these components are? Now look at the spiritual need. Okay, the spiritual need. What if the spiritual need is she's going to church, but I'm not going with her. She wants to go worship, and I see this a lot, but I don't go worship. Everybody with me? She may do that for years, and then she may say, look, I ain't doing this. I don't want to go by myself. Let's do this together. Everybody with me? So when I'm looking at your confidence and the erosion of that confidence, I'm going, what's chipping away at your confidence? What's chipping away? Well, man, I go to work during the day and I can't get my husband on board with me. Man, I've tried. He just don't see the vision. I can't do it. He's not participating with me. I'm doing these things by myself. What happens is you begin to get a broken heart and you begin to get a broken spirit. And once you get a broken heart and a broken spirit, you know what happens? You shut down. Everybody follow me here? You contract. So that's the concept of protecting confidence. Okay? Just remember, this is an asset. You want your partner to have it, trust me. So don't chip away at it every day. And how you can chip away, last thing I'll say, is make little digs. Make little digs. I don't know why you're spending that money. I don't know why you're doing that. I can't believe you want to go to that conference. I can't believe you want to do this. That's taking time away from our family. Why would you do this? Just little digs slowly add up. And it's subtracting from the emotional bank account. And it goes back to this vision. If we're on board, we're two in agreement about this vision, then there's some things I got to do, babe. Some things I got to do. I need you to work. I need you to be with me on this, right? So just keep that in mind about protecting the confidence, okay? Go ahead.
I just have one point about that. The way I do that, I feel like I protect his confidence in that I never talk negatively about him in front of other people. If I have something I need to take up with him, then I do, but that's not the place, because I hear this a lot between couples, little digs or little negative things or comments in front of people, and that's very embarrassing and it hurts your confidence. So that's one way that I'm not talking about little jokes, but, serious things. I try to keep that just between he and I and never talk negatively about him to or in front of other people.
I want you to take a second right now, and I want you to tell that other person, when it comes to your confidence, because every person in this room has lost their confidence at some point. Every person has lost it. And I'm telling you, man, it's a bad place to be. If the whole world's against you today, you got to know at night when I go home, I got one person fighting for me. You with me? How many of you got beat up today in the marketplace? Yeah, I won some deals today and I lost some deals today. I got rejected, I got objected. I hear negative feedback every day. If you saw the comments that people, I'm a positive guy, I put out positive information. If you saw all the negative comments I get in a day from people, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, I mean, people are nasty. I mean, they are nasty. It's awful. And it makes you say this, well, why not do all this stuff? Why would I go through all this for that? You follow me? The wind blows the hardest at the top of the flagpole. The more you push, the more haters you're going to get. Everybody with me? So when I get home, the one thing I don't need, I need her to go, hey, you crushed it today. Proud of you. If you got number twos, you need your assistants to know this too. Your assistants need to learn how to protect your confidence too, not destroy it. Some of the biggest messes I see happen inside the office of these little digs that people make toward each other. And they're not protecting your confidence, they're destroying your confidence. One little erosion one little drip at a time, till eventually you just break down. So I want you to tell your partner, when it comes to protecting your confidence, explain to them like what knocks your confidence down. Because maybe they don't know. Maybe they've never even told them, look, man, I take blows every day. One thing I don't handle well is when people try to quit on me. I hate pouring into people for a year and then they want to quit on me. I just can't understand it. And that happens almost every day. So I get emotional about it. It hurts my feelings. I'm like, are you serious? After all we've been through together, you're going to quit on me? Come on, let's buckle through this. We can get to the other side of this if you will just dig in with me, right? Well, if she don't know that, she may not understand, hey, why are you in a bad disposition here? What's going on with you, right? She may not understand it. So tell them if there's one thing that you need help with as it relates to your confidence, what is it? They understand it. So take a minute and tell your partner what it is. Now, we got just a few minutes, and I'm going to end with two things. If you've been on a fixed income, i.e., that means you have a job where you get paid the same amount of money every month, regardless of whether you perform or not. See, when I was a high school basketball coach, I made $2,500 a month. I got paid on the 25th of the month. It did not matter how many games I won or lost. Everybody with me? I knew the money was coming. When I left that job, I became an entrepreneur, which means I only get paid when? When I sell something. Everybody with me? That's a whole different skill set. Because now, if I don't sell it, it ain't coming in. So when a lead calls in on a Saturday afternoon at 4 p.m., 67% of people use the very first person that contacts them. Everybody with me? One of my policies is to do business with people when it's convenient with them, not when it's convenient with me. The number one time people make decisions about coaching in their future is on Saturday and Sunday because they're relaxed. So if I say to her, I got to step out and make this phone call, we may be at Jump Street with our daughter bouncing around. And I say, right, I got to step out and make this phone call. She could say to me, why can't this wait till Monday? By Monday, they ain't going to want to coach. Everybody with me? That lead is critical. It's golden. It's money. It's important. I don't want to stay on the phone with them for 3 hours, but this is when they made a decision to inquire about our services. Okay? So it's very critical you get this. We could not call them back and lose that money. But here's how I always say it to her. Do you like living in this big house? You know what? If you do, then I got to step outside and call them.
I don't ever say anything about you taking calls.
But you know what she says? Go and take that phone call, sweetie. I like our house. But here's my point. There would have been a time in our relationship she would have thought that was stealing away from her. Mm-hmm. Everybody see that? If you study the brain makes big decisions, financial decisions, when it's relaxed. It does not make big financial decisions. This is why people buy houses on the weekends. This is why people, Jerry, make big financial decisions on Saturday and Sunday, because they're not in the current of the urgent. So if you say, look, I ain't working Saturday and Sunday. I'm off. Okay? An entrepreneur does not have to work Monday to Friday. I don't care if you take Wednesday off, Thursday off, Friday off. If you make money on Saturday and Sunday, those may be focused days for you, and you can take another day off through the week. You don't have to think. See, you got 365 days a year. You don't have to think Monday to Friday, 8 to 5, 30-minute lunch. You got to go where opportunity calls. Okay? If I called you tomorrow and said, Jim Parr, I need you to speak at 10X next week in front of 10,000 people, I know you did, if you didn't plan on it, you could say, well, I didn't plan on it, timing's not right, we had this schedule, we were going out to dinner with our friends. Or he could say, look, I got a chance to get in front of 10,000 people, and I got to go. I got to get on the stage. So my point is, you got to get out of your mind this rigid thought process. You got to be fluid. You see what I'm saying? So you can say, hey, look, I got to take this call on Saturday, but I'm going to be off on this day, or I'm going to be off on this day. And as you're building your business, there's a 10-year period of pure misery. Y'all know that, don't you? That means it's a pure grind, man. It's a go. So just know that as a partner, that sometimes that's going on, okay? And I want to close with this story. I was on a plane last week from Houston, Texas, with a guy named Chuck Cannon. And Chuck is a famous songwriter. And I didn't know who he was. And I sat down beside of him, and we began to talk and have dialogue with each other. And it was an amazing conversation. I mean, literally amazing. And I was so interested in what a cool guy he was, and how deep he was, and how interested he was. And I just kept wanting to talk to him. And about halfway through the conversation, he said, I was supposed to play a gig in Houston, Texas tonight. But they called me and said I need to get home because my wife's dying of cancer. And she told me to go play the gig because she knows that's what I love doing, and she prompted me to go do it. But they told us we got to get the kids out of school, and I got to get home now. And I don't know if I'll even make it home before she passes away. And I'm sitting here listening to this conversation, and I could just sense how much he loved his wife. And this conversation just really was a game changer for me. It did a lot of work internally on me. And I got home that night, and I began to watch videos of him and his wife. They were both country music singers. And he wrote a song called I Love the Way You Love Me. It's one of the most downloaded songs of all time. John Michael Montgomery, I Love the Way You Love Me. And I watched video after video of them singing this song to each other. If you ever want to YouTube it, they sing this song back and forth to each other. He wrote it for her, and their depth of love for each other is so strong. And I'm watching them sing this song while I'm knowing what the story, what's going on with them, that she's dying of cancer. And she was 52 years old. And she did go on to die the very next week. And the last thing he said to me when he got off that plane is, Coach, I'm 60-something years old, and I have to reinvent myself. There's going to be no mom at home to take care of these kids. I got to go back out on the road and sing my songs because that's the only way I can make money now. Songwriters don't make any money now. And he said, at 60, I have to reinvent myself. But that night, I just watched those videos about how much they loved each other and them singing these songs to each other, and I just thought, man, that's the way it should be right there. You know, that's how strong, right? And it grew my love for her. And you know what it made me want to do? Be a better husband. Be a better man. Be a better father. Be a better person. You follow what I'm saying? And I got that just through one conversation with him. So for you, I want you to get in your mind that this is a tough world, man. It's a competitive world. And you two have to have each other's back every single day. And you got to go to bat for each other, and you got to fight. And what you guys are trying to do is not little bitty things in the world. Y'all, monster producers are trying to do big, crazy, ridiculous things in the world. It ain't common. It ain't normal. It ain't little. It's big. And to do big things, you both got to get in agreement with where you're going. Okay? So I hope tonight was good for you. I hope you got some things out of tonight. We're going to do 4 sessions of this year where we talk about, we'll do unpartner growth. We'll do how to use the talent, how to combine talents with each other. We'll be doing various things throughout the year, and I really do believe in coaching. Hopefully, we're going to do Monster Kids, so we'll do sessions for kids coming up. We want to build a family here, okay? So give my wife a hand. She did a good job tonight. I love the way you love me, babe.
You're sweet.
Guys, I want to thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for being a Monster Producer. We'll be around for just a few minutes if you want to talk about anything, but more than anything, you showed up tonight. And it wasn't easy sitting around talking about some of these things. I get it, man. I get it. But you showed up, and you're digging in. So God bless you, and thanks for coming, okay? Have a good night. Thank you.